Greece is burning, again. For thousands of years, this ancient land has battled an enemy that returns every summer with devastating fury. Wildfires that turn paradise into hell in a matter of hours. From the sacred olive groves to the tourist beaches, no part of Greece is safe when the flames come calling. Today, we're counting down 10 times Greece has been consumed by fire. Moments so devastating, so shocking, that they've redefined what we thought wildfires could do. These aren't just forest fires. These are infernos that have rewritten history, destroyed ancient treasures, and changed the face of an entire nation. But here's what makes these fires truly terrifying. Each one was worse than the last, and scientists warn that the worst is yet to come. So prepare yourself, because what you're about to see shows a country literally fighting for its survival against an enemy that never sleeps. It began as a small bushfire on Mount Penteli, just outside Athens. But within hours, this small fire had consumed 24,000 hectares and was racing toward Greece's capital city with unstoppable fury. What shocked firefighters wasn't just the speed, it was how the fire seemed to have a mind of its own, jumping highways and fire breaks like they didn't exist. Over 1,000 homes were destroyed, and for the first time, Athenians could see flames from their apartment windows. This fire taught Greece a terrifying lesson. No place was safe. If fires could threaten the capital itself, nowhere in the country was beyond their reach. But if Athens was shocking, what happened on the tourist island of Rhodes was heartbreaking. Tourists sunbathing on pristine beaches suddenly found themselves fleeing for their lives as massive wildfires swept down from the mountains. Hotels became evacuation centers. Paradise became a war zone. Over 15,000 tourists were evacuated by sea as the island's tourism industry, its lifeblood, went up in flames. The message was clear. Greece's fires didn't care about economics or tourism. They consumed everything. 3 years later, Greece's second-largest island learned that being surrounded by water was no protection. Evia Island, known for its pristine forests and ancient villages, became a furnace. Fires burned for weeks, consuming over 50,000 hectares, an area larger than some entire countries. Entire villages were evacuated by ferry as residents watched their ancestral homes burn from the sea. The island's famous pine forests, some over 100 years old, were reduced to ash in days. What made this fire truly shocking was its persistence. It burned for 17 days straight, proving that Greece's fires were becoming not just bigger, but longer lasting and more destructive than ever before. But nothing could have prepared Greece for what happened in the coastal town of Mati. On July 23, 2018, a wildfire swept through the seaside resort of Mati so fast that people had no time to escape. Families were trapped in their cars as flames surrounded them. Others jumped into the sea, only to be rescued hours later by fishing boats. This fire killed 102 people in a single day, making it the deadliest wildfire in modern Greek history. It proved that Greece's fires had evolved from property destroyers to mass killers. But Greece's fires don't just destroy the present, they erase the past. The birthplace of the Olympic Games, ancient Olympia, came within meters of being consumed by massive wildfires that swept across the Peloponnese. This wasn't just a fire, it was an attack on 3,000 years of human history. Archaeologists and firefighters worked side by side, using water cannons to protect 2,800-year-old ruins as flames licked at the edges of the ancient stadium where the first Olympics were held. The fire consumed 270,000 hectares across the Peloponnese, but the fact that ancient Olympia survived by mere meters showed just how close Greece came to losing its most precious historical treasures forever. Just when Greece thought it had learned to fight these fires, Evia proved them wrong. The same island that burned in 2019 erupted in flames again, but this time the fire was different. It created its own weather system, generating fire tornadoes and pyrocumulus clouds that could be seen from space. The fire burned so hot that it created its own lightning, which started new fires miles away. Meteorologists had never seen anything like it, a fire that was literally feeding itself and growing stronger. Over 125,000 hectares burned in what became known as Greece's fire apocalypse. The island that had survived 2019 was now 60% destroyed, proving that Greece's fires were evolving into something beyond human control. But the most economically devastating fire was yet to come. In July 2023, Rhodes faced its worst fire in history. Over 20,000 tourists were evacuated in the largest peacetime evacuation in Greek history. Hotels worth millions burned to the ground as guests fled in terror. British Airways canceled all flights. Tour operators pulled out entirely. The island that depended on tourism for 80% of its economy watched its future burn in real time. This fire didn't just destroy buildings, it destroyed Greece's reputation as a safe tourist destination, proving that the country's fires had become a threat to its entire economic survival. But even Rhodes paled in comparison to what happened when fires surrounded Athens itself. For 3 days in August 2021, Athens was surrounded by a ring of fire. The sky turned orange. Ash fell like snow on the Acropolis. The city of 4 million people was under siege by flames that seemed to come from every direction. Residents of northern Athens suburbs fled their homes as fires jumped the highway and began consuming neighborhoods. The smell of smoke filled the metro system underground as people sought shelter. What made this truly terrifying was the realization that Greece's capital, home to 40% of the country's population, was not safe from the fires that were consuming the nation. But Evia wasn't finished with Greece yet. For the third time in 5 years, Evia erupted in flames. But this fire was different. It was smarter, more aggressive, and seemingly unstoppable. It burned through areas that had already been destroyed, consuming the new growth and leaving nothing but bare earth. Scientists warned that Evia was experiencing ecological collapse. The island's ecosystem was being destroyed faster than it could regenerate. What had once been Greece's green jewel was becoming a moonscape. This fire proved that Greece wasn't just fighting individual fires anymore. It was fighting a cycle of destruction that was turning the entire country into a tinderbox. But the most shocking moment came when Greece faced something unprecedented. In the summer of 2023, Greece didn't just have wildfires, it became one giant wildfire. From the islands to the mainland, from the mountains to the coast, the entire country was burning simultaneously. Over 650 fires burned at the same time. The government declared a national emergency. International aid poured in from across Europe as Greece fought for its very survival. What made this the most shocking moment was the realization that Greece wasn't just experiencing bad fire seasons anymore. It was experiencing a fundamental change in its climate and ecosystem. The country that gave birth to Western civilization was being consumed by fires that threatened to erase it from the map. Satellite images showed a nation under siege, with smoke plumes visible from space, covering an area larger than some European countries. Greece wasn't just burning, it was being transformed into something unrecognizable. These 10 fires tell the story of a country at war with an enemy that grows stronger every year. From small brush fires to national emergencies, Greece has learned that fire is not just a seasonal threat, it's an existential one. But through it all, the Greek people have shown incredible resilience. They rebuild, they replant, they prepare for the next fire season. Because in Greece, fire isn't just a natural disaster, it's a way of life.